Hello. Hey, YouTube. Sorry about that. QuickTime was a little bit slow there. So it's been a little while since I made a video, and tonight I'm going to make some videos. Hopefully, I'm going to crank out quite a few. Um, as you guys may have seen from the post I put up on our channel, I've been sick recently with the flu, and I'm finally starting to recuperate from that. So, first video since feeling better. I left off with talking about programming history and the binary system. Now I'm going to go a little bit more into that with talking about what is programming. Not exactly attacking it from that binary concept like I did in that video, but essentially what it is. Because the problem is, I've had a lot of friends over time that have come and asked me, what is the best way to learn programming, what is programming and everything. So I'm just kind of making this video to kind of tell you guys what I tell them. So programming is, of course, a way to make computer programs. Kind of simple. Programming, make computer programs. I'm actually gonna try and organize these notes a little bit. So next thing is whenever people start getting into programming, to me they kind of overcomplicate it, especially people new to programming. Sorry, my throat's a little dry. So the best way I try to explain it to them is it's writing a set of instructions. An example would be like, okay, whenever you drive a car, what is the first thing you do? Get in the car, insert the key into the keyhole, turn on the ignition, you look behind, you put the car in reverse, look behind you, back up. Whenever you're done backing up, put the car in drive, and then hit the gas pedal and go. Programming is basically just that. It's just writing a simple set of instructions to tell a computer what to do. So tell the computer what to do. Alright, next thing I want to talk about is compilers. What are compilers? Compilers take source code and make it into a executable or some sort of not diary, binary file. So I have videos on the channel where I program in Python. Well, the computer doesn't read Python. How it works is, let me illustrate it here. So we have Python example. So we have a code right here, says print hello. That's going to be the code. So we're going to call this hello.py. So that's going to be the name of our source file. So here we are, we have hello.py. What do we do with it? Well, if you guys have watched the videos, you saw that I opened up my terminal, went to the directory it was in, and I typed in Python space hello.py. What that does is that enables the compiler. It tells the compiler, okay, wake up, it's time to get to work. So we have hello.py, which goes into, and Python is not a compiled language, it's an interpreted language, so there's a little bit more to it. So Python may not have been the best example, but without getting too deep into it, technically, alright, so without getting too deep into it right now, so we have our hello.py, we're going to pass it to the compiler. So the compiler reads through it and it converts it into an executable, which when ran runs as binary. So basically it is like a translator. It's like, alright, if if I'm the Secretary of the State and I'm sitting down with the Secretary of State of a different country, they're going to have like an interpreter because, you know, I speak English, the other person speaks French, we'll say. French. Well, if I only speak English, I don't understand French. If the person I'm talking to is from France and they only speak French, they don't know English. So we can talk to each other all day and we don't understand each other. So basically it's like sitting down a translator who knows both languages. So, you know, I say hello, the translator hears it, looks at the French guy and says bonjour. So that's essentially what a compiler does, is it takes the file and it translates it into something a computer can read, which would be binary. Now, like I said, with, you know, there's a little bit more to Python. We also have what are called interpreted languages. So this is technically wrong for Python. An interpreted language is, so here we have hello.py, which goes to the Python interpreter, which goes to a compiler, which then goes to an executable file that the computer can read. Now, a lot of people say, whoa, we've got way too many steps, why can't it just be as simple as having a compiler? Well, there are advantages to a compiled language versus an interpreted language. An interpreted language, the way it reads a program is it reads it line by line and executes line by line. So if you've ever written, as an example, a Python program that says, make a variable called hello equals raw underscore input. And if you don't know Python, you probably don't understand this, but just know that it's an example. What is your name? And then I'm going to purposely mess this up, like I just accidentally typed something wrong. Print hello, my name is hello. Alright, so if this program was made correctly, hello would be a variable that would be set to the input of whatever the user is going to put whenever it prompts what is your name, and then it's simply going to print my name is and then whatever hello equals. So if your name's John, what is your name? You type in John, it stores John and hello, and then in the next line of code it says, if it was correct, it would print out my name is John. Well, obviously instead of typing print, I typed pint. So a interpreted language, which this would be a good example, as an interpreted language is running, it would go ahead and spit this out, and then of course the user would say, you know, my name is John. Then whenever it comes to this line of code, then that's whenever the program stops and says, whoa, wait a second, we have an issue here. If you have a compiled program, it's not going to do that. So an interpreter is kind of nice if you want to run, you know, if you want to see how a program works line by line, and it's kind of nice for debugging, because if we have 1,000 lines of code and we can run through 900 lines of code just fine, then we know the issue is probably going to be somewhere within the last 100 lines of code. Whereas with the compiled language, since this is wrong, it just won't compile in the first place, and the compiler will say, error, this just isn't going to work for us. So there are advantages to it, and you know, even though you go whoa, you know, still, you know, we have two interpreters working. To also go a little bit more in depth with interpreted languages, usually an interpreter is written in another language, such as we use C as an example, the programming language C. So if the compiler is written in, actually my bad, it's the interpreter that is written in a different language. So if the interpreter is written in C, so what it's going to do is it's going to say, alright, we have hello.py. Then we're going to pass it to the interpreter. The interpreter is going to go, okay, my job is to translate hello.py to hello.c, or you know, to change it from one language to another. Then it's going to pass it to a compiler, which gives us the executable. And so that's pretty much it. I believe, for that. That knocks out 2 videos, and hopefully I'll have some coming up here shortly.